What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the universe. Welcome to a show that has not looked the same 2 weeks in a row so far. Welcome to part... okay.
7?
Welcome to part 7, yes, of the Universe My Hero Academia Season 5 review. I am John Kearns. I am joined today by Tim Farley.
Hello.
Michaela Nash.
Hey.
And Brianna Rose.
Hello.
Yeah, you have such a cool last name.
I didn't know if it was actually Farley or not.
Yes, we're blood siblings.
I know that, but I just never asked. I didn't know.
Yeah.
As you can see, I am a bit cold, so I'm rocking my Zawa gear. Wish it was yellow, but whatever.
I am wearing my Peridot shirt, and something that I did not anticipate was that the green screen, like, Peridot is translucent on the shirt. When you guys watch the video, you'll see my my background is on Peridot's face.
I love that. That's hilarious.
You're so silly, John.
It wasn't something that I even considered a possibility. So
My shirt is Interpol.
very nice.
Yeah.
What shirt is underneath your blanket, Tim?
I got my shirt in Salem when we went to go hunt some witches.
Which is
Yeah, I didn't go for that one. I'm gonna go next time though.
Yes.
Tim, what shirt is under your blanket to round out the what we're all wearing thing?
Who said I had one?
Well, I saw it before.
Oh, you ruined it, John. Jacob Fatu, of course.
Very nice. Big Goose. Friend of the show. Not this show, another show.
I slept in my clothes from last night. I got up and I went to work.
Perfect.
Sometimes, to quote the kids, sometimes it be like that.
It do be like that.
It do be like that.
We just saw match 3 of the Class A versus Class B arc. It was episode 93 or 94?
4. John, I want to say right now,
95.
off the bat,
We both fucked up.
before you do the recap, last week and maybe even the week before, you've mentioned what are the best episodes in this season, and I'm going to tell you that this episode for me was
Really?
yes, and I'll explain it later.
Yeah, I actually disagree wholeheartedly.
ooh.
Because, well, mostly because of one very specific thing. But we'll get into
Yep, I agree. I already know what you're going to say, and I agree.
that. Because of something that I found out I was wrong about. We'll get into that later.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, you do.
I like to know.
Because you made fun of me before.
You mean Ingenium being dead last week and he was alive this week?
Oh yeah.
How all three of us told you.
We were all right.
It wasn't mentioned until just now, so don't get on your high horses just yet.
It's true.
I've been on my high horse, man.
But when
I've
you
been
were
smoking this kush. Just kidding. I don't
dead.
do that. Just because I'm white and I have long hair does not mean I partake in the smoking of electric lettuce.
I mean, you do, but it's not because of the white skin or long hair. No, I'm kidding. All right, here we go. We got match 3, which is the episode title, and also what happened. Begins with kinda. Begins with it all ties in. Don't act like it doesn't tie in. Match 3 begins with Class A and Class B sitting at a tie of 1 victory apiece. We see that this week we have Shoto Todoroki, Tenya Ida, and Mezo Shoji and Ojiro are taking on Pony. Who else? Tetsu.
Tetsu.
There's two
Kaibara.
other people.
Bob.
Yeah, Bob. Bob? Who's Bob?
Who's messing with you? Kaibara, the spiral guy.
Kaibara, the spiral guy, and
Just be hilarious if just like one of the names was just Bob.
oh, and the
Mudman.
guy with and yeah, Mudman. We'll call him Mudman because I have no idea what his name actually is.
I think
Onanuki.
it's like, yeah, there you go. The Hufflepuff remembered.
Of course. So it starts off, and we see the beginning of this match, but then randomly, we cut to like the real world where a villain is running away from a hero or from a sidekick. We find out because he comes face to face with none other than Endeavor. And Endeavor makes quick work of the villain. And then we find out that Todoroki's sister helped him friend Todoroki's account on his phone. And he's been leaving him many messages. And Todoroki's answered none of them because he's in school, which the sidekicks point out.
Yeah.
And we cut back to the match. But before the match started, Tokoyami actually says to Todoroki, I gave a shameful performance, which, no, he didn't. I don't understand why he thinks that. And it's up to you now. Todoroki says, why me? Tokoyami says, because we have to hold up the honor of the new number 1 and number 2 hero. So,
Yeah. Also, before the match, I believe All Might went to Deku.
yeah,
and
All Might
talked
takes-
to him
Yeah.
about the spontaneity of One for All, yes, that's right. I was right that time.
Yeah.
And Bakugo comes over and says, you know, you entrusted me with this secret, but you're running around here, you know, like you're not doing a very good job
Of
at
hiding it.
it.
Yeah.
And he kind of questions how Deku's doing and if he's going forward or backward. And like Deku kind of says, I don't know. And they're more so All Might came to him because he's going to be facing Shinso, who activated the vestiges in One for All
Right.
the last time. And I'll say this. Bakugo's voice actor is like perfect, and also like when he started speaking, visions of Goto, Ishii, and Suzuki just like went through my mind, John.
I'll tell you what, man.
Fucking awesome.
The voice actors knocked it out of the park for Bakugo in the dub and sub.
Yeah, yeah.
For sure. Like, he's perfect. I can't really think right now of a voice in the sub that I don't like as much as the dub voice.
Now, also,
I can't think of one.
noticing the All Might and Deku interaction was Ashido and Mineta, and Uraraka said, well, they've kind of been around since the sports festival.
That part was great.
Ashido was like, oh, of course Uraraka would know, and then Uraraka sent her up
that's not
in the
what
air.
you think.
And like throughout that whole part of the episode, I thought to myself, Ashido and Mineta is a couple that I never thought I needed. Like, I loved their interactions with each other. Brianna, he was talking about Endeavor and Shoto. I I remember you had some things to say about that.
Well, we saw like a flashback for Shoto where he was remembering like trying to learn things from his father, and Endeavor was telling him he can't be weak and he needs to learn like some sort of special move. And then he mentions Endeavor mentions that his brother Toya was close to mastering it. And he even says, Endeavor even says that Toya had more firepower than him, had more firepower than Endeavor.
Right.
But he had a weak constitution. So
his mother's weak constitution.
Yeah, that he inherited from his mother. So basically, Toya failed, and he's like, Shoto, you have to have all of my ambition on you. And so that's like Shoto's remembering that after what Tokoyami said about upholding the
right.
Yeah. So that like ties in the whole Endeavor thing with him then trying to contact Shoto after friending him, and like he's saying, now I want to teach you that like a good father would teach you it.
Right.
And I'm not the same. I'm different now. And he just feels.
Yeah. And we also saw that in how he acted with the kids.
With the little kids.
His initial reaction with the children was Endeavor. But then afterwards, you know, he asked them if they were hurt or...
Yeah, they were happy.
So it was more of a softening of Endeavor, which was cool.
Yeah. I've definitely come full circle around to really liking Endeavor.
Yeah, he's grown. It was so funny when the sidekicks were like, his Shoto sickness is getting worse day by day. Like, because he's freaking out of being obsessed.
I love that it cuts from that to Shoto sneezing.
Yes, I said to Tim, I was like,
that's hilarious.
We're thinking about you.
I like that. I like how Endeavor is now, like, trying to show
he's really
he can
trying.
be a good father. He's actually trying to show that he deserves to be the #1 hero. He wasn't just given it because All Might couldn't do it anymore. Like, he deserves it just as much as anybody else does. It is what happened, but now he's actually trying to prove that he deserves it. Like, he can be, oh, I'm tough Endeavor, but also can be like are you okay? Do you need help? Like, can I help you? That side of him too, like that father side that we never really got to see with Endeavor.
Yeah. I thought that was interesting, though, of Tokoyami, that he, like, said that to Shoto at the beginning. Like, that there's some sort of pressure just because he interned with Hawks, but that's just his son. And it's just, like, interesting that he was like, you have to hold it up now. I was like, why? What is he talking about? But I was like, that's an interesting perspective to have.
And then we see it carry over when the match starts with Tenya and his brother.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's the part that I really liked about this episode. We see them approaching the battleground, as it were, for the next match. And Iida's talking about how his brother's recovery is coming along nicely. So he's a little more cheerful. He's got some pep in his step, as it were. So we're looking in good shape for Class A so far. Shoji, of course, is used to locate the enemy. And upon locating the enemy, we see Todoroki blast everything with ice, as he is known to do. What?
Also, Tetsu leveled the fighting area, so that we could finally have, which we haven't gotten yet, a head-on battle. There will not be any kind of fuckery in this match. It's going to be just head-on, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like that. So we see so Iida attempts to run out onto the ice, but can't because Mudman has made it all soft, and Iida is sinking into it. which I think is due greatly in part to his very heavy gear that he wears. And what happens next?
He took away. He said something like, "Well, first we also found out that Hananoki is one of Class B's people who came in on recommendation, much like his counterpart in this match, Todoroki." And then he said, "We also find out that like after with the quirk, he can soften it, but once he touches it again, it hardens." And also, he said something like, "You're only as fast or strong as the ground that you run on," and I took that away from you.
Yeah.
Yeah, he also said it would have been better if they would have attacked with the fire instead of the ice.
Yeah, which I think is what we're going to see happen in the next episode, given the preview.
Well, because they're all separated, I think Shoto said that he can't use this full power, though.
Yeah.
I think he would hurt his own team members.
Yeah. And I like how Ida, he's very good at separating, like, this is a villain situation, no matter how you look at it. So, like, we have to go into it thinking, like, they're the enemy. How are we going to defeat the enemy, even though it is just training? His focus is solely on defeating the enemy, which I think is really cool, and not a lot of them, like, separate that, like, into, like, the little categories, like, that. Oh, those are our classmates, but Ida's full into it, like, oh, you're a villain, how do we defeat you?
Yeah.
Which is, I really like, part of his character.
I agree, and I also think that, we talked about how Todoroki was going into it and how Ida was going into it. This whole thing, Class A versus B, we're seeing that Class A has a lot of psychological baggage that's going into these matches that can either help them or hinder them. Instead of Class B. Class B has none of this shit going on. Class A has so much shit that's affecting them mentally, and we're seeing it especially right now.
Well, we also don't know Class B's backstories necessarily.
Well, if there was, Brianna, I would imagine that it would get explained.
Yeah. I also think that, like, Class B, like, they never had to deal with that, like, sudden death instance, whereas Class A on many occasions has had to do the quick thinking. So for Class A, it's easier for them to be, like, quick thinkers. Like, they know, okay, we're in the situation, how do we get out of the situation?
Right.
But for Class B, it's more of a, like, okay, well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to plan. Oh, crap, they caught us. Now what do we do? Like, now how do we get out of this? Whereas Class A, they're like, okay, we'll do it this way instead. We're still going to keep the plan, but we're going to change it.
So far, what we've seen is that every Class B team, except for the one headed by Kendo, is going into the match with one plan. And not much else. I think that's what's hurting Class B in the two matches that seem to be going Class A's way. So,
well, this match does not seem to be going Class A's way.
I'd say towards the end it does.
The preview makes
towards the end of the episode.
But
no, Ida's about to attack at the end.
Yeah,
but
Shoto just got punched by Tetsu.
Todoroki, right now, this is how it looks like to me. Todoroki and Ida are the main event. Same with Hananoki and whoever else is fighting.
I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, but
and the other four are just kind of like they're there because
but isn't that how Shoji and Ojiro have always been?
No, but even the Class B ones, they're in a checkmate of sorts. The Gyrate guy is going after the tail dude, and he's dodging, so nothing's really happening there. And then with Pony or whatever, she's got Tentacle kind of down, but Todoroki's there too. We don't know what's going to happen there.
Yeah,
but it's going to come down to the 4 that I mentioned previously. I don't see the.
Okay, I see what you're saying, but at the same time, did you not just say that what you like about this is that it's a head-on fight?
Yeah.
Well, I do. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's showing who the main event guys are or girls.
Yeah.
Well, they're trying to keep everybody busy. Like Tenya says, oh, are you trying to get it so we can't work together? Like we can't work together as a team. They separated all of them, and they're each fighting each other. So, like, Shoji is being attacked by Pony, and Ojiro is being attacked by the Spiral guy, Kaibara. And then Tetsu punches Todoroki after the softening guy, softens all his ice. And then that Hananuki guy is basically going after Ida. So it's like they're all one-on-one right now. But they even said in the preview is that it's going to come down to Todoroki and Ida.
Yeah. But them being all separated works better for 1A's advantage because they know how to do that one-on-one combat. And if you listen to Tetsu, he's even told Todoroki, like, you should have started your fire because your cold messes up my metal. So, like, that gave us kind of, like, a glimpse of, like, how to take down Tetsu.
Yeah.
Right. And also, Hononoke, we see here, made a very grave mistake because he assumed that he knew everything about Ida. And like you were saying, John, and when Ida was talking to his brother, we see that
we learned something new about him.
Reciproburst has a longer time period because he was told to, because it came from his grandfather, to pull the mufflers out of his legs, and stronger ones would grow in, so he could go faster or longer. And so he's trapped in the softening, but Hononoke touched it so it would harden. So he thought he would just keep him there and trap him. But Ingenium...
No, sir.
I'm going to kick you in the motherfucking face.
Yeah.
Like, if next week's episode opens up again with all of them coming out and saying something to each other, like we've seen for the past episodes.
I've been waiting to mention that.
I'm going to be so annoyed. I just want it to open up with Ingenium coming out of the fucking ice and kicking that dude in the face.
One thing that is annoying the shit out of me in this season is that almost every episode is opening with that annoying fuck Monoma screaming about having a battle against Class 1A.
Yeah.
And it's always the first same scene, John.
It's not even
a new fucking scene.
I hate that guy.
There's so much
so sick of him. And
someone needs to punch him hard and not Kendo. Like, just
Kendo needs to end it.
Right. Bakugo just needs to go and kick his ass. Like, I think if anybody was going to do it, it would be Bakugo. And Class 1A would be like, oh no, Bakugo, don't.
I think Aizawa would probably give him a pass.
Probably. Aizawa would be like, oh no, guys, you need me over here.
And I'm waiting for Present Mike to show up and just kick Vlad in the balls and start taking over the commentary. That's not how you do it, my brother.
Whoa! That's some biased commentary. We don't like that at UA.
Yeah!
Go back to Russia.
My gosh.
But at the same time, I get why 1B is like, oh, we have to be 1A, because 1A is always getting like, oh, well, 1A has this and 1A has that, and they're pushed to the side. So I understand like that competitiveness, but it gets to the point where it's like, okay, we get it. We understand that there's that competitiveness. We don't need it every episode. Just start off with the battle and then go from there.
I don't need to see Batman's parents get shot at the beginning of every Batman movie.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly.
I don't need to see the spider bite Peter Parker at the beginning of every Spider-Man movie. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we know what's happening.
So we pretty much covered the entire episode here already, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess I'll explain, John.
Let's get into shooting the shit.
The only thing that I really liked about this episode was Endeavor. The whole Endeavor scene. And I'm very invested in the Todoroki story.
Yeah.
And I feel like the All Might, Bakugo and Deku scene could have been a little bit longer for me. It seemed important.
Yeah.
But the length of it and what actually happened in it afterwards, I thought they didn't do it right or something. And this is called Match 3. I hardly saw any of Match 3.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like in the grand scheme of things, now, like, you know, we all four of us have binge watched this show. This is the first time we're really watching it episode by episode.
Yeah.
This is a throwaway episode.
Yeah.
When it was over, me and Brianna
it's a throwaway
looked at each other.
It's a throwaway episode that should not be a throwaway episode because of what happened with Bakugo and Deku and All Might and with what happened with Endeavor and Todoroki.
But
those two things should have been a whole episode.
Exactly.
You should make a whole episode about it, not just sprinkle it in this, taking away from this and taking away from that.
You could have made Match 3 the whole next episode.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Because at the beginning of this episode, Aizawa tells Vlad, "Let's take a break on the way over there." And where's the break?
Yeah, like where's the break? Like you could have taken that break and
that could have been the break.
Bakugo, All Might conversation.
They had to split Match 3 into 2 because they don't know what to title these episodes. We got Match 3. Now we got Match 3 conclusion.
Yeah,
that's what the next one's going to be.
Yeah.
What happened? What happened here? We had fucking cool ass names before, like Vestiges and whatever the fuck the first one was called.
This season started very strong, in my opinion.
Did.
And I think
I
have hope.
There's still strength. Next week will be good. Yeah, there is still strength, but I agree with what you said, Tim.
Honestly, yeah.
Like I said, I think Match 3 could have been the complete next episode.
Right. Exactly.
Because they did Match 2 in one episode.
Right. You want to further along Bakugo and All Might. Bakugo and All Might are basically, you know, Deku's soundboard. You know what I mean? Those are the only two he can go to talk about this stuff. And it's so rich. And Endeavor and Toya and Shoto, all of that is so rich.
Yeah.
Make that the fucking episode and then have Match 3 the other episode.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Bakugo and Deku, like that relationship, it's so rocky in the beginning, but seeing that moment where he's like, are you getting stronger? Or like, what's going on? Are you moving forwards? Are you moving backwards? Like that concern, you don't really see that anywhere else. But when he's like, do you need help? Like, are you getting strong? Like what? That should have been an episode. Like that
there should have been a lot more light shined on the fact that Bakugo went to Deku in a concerned manner.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's something that literally has never happened.
No.
Yeah. And with an episode that's already like the battle is so like there's 4 different battles essentially going on because they're all one-on-one. So like you got to switch from like this battle to that battle to this battle, you know, and then they're also going, well, here's Endeavor doing this, and like here's Deku and All Might doing that. It's like too much different things going on. Like, let's do the battle. That's 4 different people or 4 different like
like all
and
all
have it was like stuff about Todoroki, stuff about All Might and Deku and Bakugo. That makes more sense and would be easier to follow.
Yeah, because I was more invested in like what was happening with Endeavor and All Might and all that. I was just like, okay, I want more of that. Like, I really didn't care about the match, but the whole episode was for the match. But I was like, okay, well, what's happening with this other guy? Like,
and then the match starts, and you're starting to take yourself out of that, and you're like, okay, I'm going to get into this match. Mm-hmm. And once you start to get into the match,
it gets to the Endeavor thing.
Yep.
No, it's over.
Exactly.
Oh, it's over.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god, I can't believe that.
Like,
it's like, who made any moves?
That's the thing, right? Like, that's something we've mentioned before in this, is that now that we're not binging it, it's like you blink and it's over.
Mm-hmm.
But this episode, I felt more like we've said that the past couple episodes, John.
Yeah.
But this episode, it felt even more so. Like
when Ito was coming out of the ground, I was like, oh yes, and then
it's because so much happened.
So I was like, wait, what?
Like if we took all the flashbacks and things out, how much did we even get of the fight? Like if you were Ida and you're like in this fight, like what are you doing? You're walking, and then
you're in ice.
And then you're walking on ice, and then you're in the ice, and then you were like, I'm gonna break out of the ice. That's literally all that happened. That's all that happened. Nothing else happened. So it's like
and the girl threw 4 horns to trap Tentacle, which probably won't work.
Yeah,
and she used her horns to send Tetsu through the ice to punch Todoroki too.
Which that was pretty cool. I like that part.
Yeah.
Cool.
I also like the part
Tetsu a lot.
Where they were all talking and Tetsu had the whole idea of breaking everything down.
You all think I'm dumb.
Kaibara was so like, what are you talking about? And Hinoke was kind of behind it, and he was like, why are you being so flexible with this? And then the pony girl started talking in English, and Kaibara was like, you're even getting her to talk in English. What is... And I was like,
I'm so excited. Yeah. Like, I want to know what that's going to be in the dub version. Like, is she going to speak Spanish? Is she going to speak Japanese? Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, there's going to have to be something that matches that moment.
There were definitely good things here. Like, I'm not going to, like, completely shit on this episode.
I'd argue that everything that happened was good, but it shouldn't have all been happening at once.
Yeah, I don't think it was throwaway.
Yeah.
I don't think it was throwaway, but it could have been executed better.
Paced better.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Goes in way.
So there you go.
Yes, and in the preview, pretty much all we got to see was more action for match 3 conclusion. So not really much to talk about there, I guess, huh?
I mean,
did you guys see anything that caught your eye, or
not entirely? It just made me ready to see what the actual match is going to be.
Yeah. I feel like the next episode is going to go more into Todoroki than anybody else because it just gave me that feel. But hopefully he comes out with like a new move, like he can like do something that we've never seen before instead of
that's what I wanted to talk about a little bit when we were seeing Endeavor being like, you have to learn this new move, blah 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 blah. To me, because of where that moment was placed in the episode and what flashback you saw right before that happened, I believe that Endeavor was trying to teach Shoto Prominence Burn.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I said.
I think that's what's happening.
Yeah.
So probably. If we see Todoroki or Shoto, if we see him use Prominence Burn,
he doesn't know it yet because he was trying to get in contact with.
Yeah, you're right.
And at the end he said, "What'd you say, bro?"
What if he does it without being taught it? You know, what if he just taps into something?
Does it because he saw his old man do it? Yeah.
Yeah, he was like learning it before, but he wasn't doing it well or whatever. Whenever he was little, that was what the flashback was. But maybe he'll just like tap into it because everyone's saying he has to use his fire. Like Hananuki was like, "You should have hit me with fire, not with ice."
Yeah, and
that even goes back to whenever they were at the sports festival.
Exactly.
You have to use.
It's your quirk, not his.
You make it yours.
Yeah,
it's your quirk, not his. Like you have to use it. It's a part of you. You have in order to excel. You're gonna have to use both sides.
Yeah, and we've also seen in the past, during the provisional license exam, one of his other big things is he wants to learn how to use fire and ice at the same time.
Yeah,
but we haven't really seen him do that yet. If that happens in the next episode, I'll be very happy.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Like if he does,
that'd be so cool.
Because to me, that would probably make his thing sort of like a water cannon, right?
Kind of.
Like that might be what happens.
Well, that's very logical of you, John.
Yeah,
but this is a fictitious world.
I wish he would have known how to do that when they were trying to put out fires.
But that'd be fucking rad because it would add a whole nother element to
his power.
Yeah, totally. That'd be really cool.
And I feel like with each episode, you're seeing each person get better. So it's like where they were, even though this episode really wasn't action packed. Like you saw Ida get better, you saw Shoto get better, you saw Ojiro get better.
I don't know that I needed to see Ida pull the pipe out of his leg.
Oh,
no,
I know.
Definitely did not need to see that at all.
Wow, guys. Wow.
I don't share that sentiment, but
blood spurt.
I mean,
blood spurt.
Whenever we first met, I wasn't sure if that was like part of his outfit or his legs, and then later on we saw it in his legs, and I was like, "Ooh, I don't like this." So then him pulling that out, I was like, "I can't, I can't."
Oh no!
And the sound it made.
Yeah.
Gross. But we kind of talked about this, I think, but it was interesting too, like with Tokiyomi coming up to Todoroki and saying like how they have to live up to the number 1 and number 2 heroes, Hawks and Endeavor. And then Ida starts talking about his brother, and how he's like wants to fulfill the like succession of Ingenium. And then it flashes to Deku thinking about him taking on the succession of All Might. So they're all trying to like live up to something else. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I thought that was an interesting, like, that they switched to Deku too. So we got like all 4 of these like main characters basically who have something that they're trying to reach still.
Yeah, and I feel like they shouldn't. Yeah, they shouldn't have to live up to the person. Like they should be able to just like it's our quirks. Like we're the ones doing it. We're the next generation. Yeah, right. They came before us, but like we need to do it for us. We need to do it our way and not their way.
Yeah.
Like,
and I think here's the thing. I talked about in a previous episode about how Tokiyomi is seen as wise, and we talked about that. And John, you compared him to Batman.
Yeah.
In this episode, we see his insecurities because the girl who put the mushroom in his throat offered him water and he didn't want it, and then she said go to Recovery Girl, and he was like kind of shrugging her off, and then as soon as that happened, he went up to Todoroki and said that stuff, and it was like he feels bad. He feels bad that he didn't win, and it was another layer to him. You know what I mean?
He probably feels in a way that he wasted his new move.
Probably.
He still did a good job, but he doesn't even did a good job because he didn't win in the end.
That's exactly what I said when he said I gave a shameful performance. I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? You were the part of the team that was awesome."
Yeah,
I mean, you and Momo.
Yeah,
and that's why I think Shinso's going to be in Class A, because he has the Class A vibe. Thinking. You know, he has the same type of thinking. Everybody else was saying how good he was, and he was saying,
"Yeah, but I still can't do this. I still can't do that. Blah blah blah. I'm so far behind."
But that's where I think that like where 1A and 1B different, because if that was a real situation and Tokoyami didn't do his best, somebody was going to get hurt. So that's where I think like they also have a lot more pressure on themselves because they've been in that real world situation, and 1B hasn't.
Yeah.
Go ahead, John.
I was just gonna say, I think it serves to show how different but similar the students of Class 1A are.
Right.
Yeah.
Another little tidbit.
They're all living with that teenage insecurity.
Yeah, for sure. Another little tidbit about this episode before we wrap this up. Was, John, do you think Recovery Girl was sweet on Momo?
I didn't.
She called her skin supple and gave her a kiss.
Well, she kisses everybody. That's how her quirk works.
I don't know. It seemed a little funny to me. I know
it was a little funny.
I know that she's not sweet on her. It was a joke, but it was just a kind of a weird scene to me.
It gave me that weird old lady vibe, like the weird old lady compliments.
Yeah. You're like, is this a compliment? Is it not a compliment? Like, what's going on here?
A little creepy.
You're freaking us out, lady.
Lady, you're scaring us.
yeah, that's it. I made sloppy joes for you. I made them extra sloppy.
Make them sloppy.
All right, so next week we will be back
for match 3 conclusion.
For match 3 conclusion. Everyone out there, remember, go beyond plus
Ultra.
Ultra!